Hello guys, welcome to Bake by Philo. So today I'll be teaching you how to make the best and the most delicious banana bread. So banana bread is kind of a cakey bread, okay? It's not a yeasty bread. So the rising agent here is either baking powder or baking soda instead of yeast. So it's one of the breads we have that don't use or don't require yeast, okay? So it's a very nice bread and it's just like a cake and it's super easy to make. So the ingredients that we are going to be needing are 2 cups of all-purpose flour sifted, 1 cup of granulated sugar, half cup of softened butter, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of any flavor of choice. Here I'm using strawberry flavor, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 3 to 4 ripe bananas. If you can get this overripe, it is actually very nice because the flavor comes out more. So banana bread usually goes well with nuts. So any nuts you can get. Here I have granuts. Some people call it peanuts. You can also use cashew nuts or even raisins, or you can equally use chocolate chips to put into your banana bread to make it more extra. You can equally leave this out, it's optional. So guys, I'm going to start combining the same process you take while making a cake. That's the same process here. So I'm going to start by creaming my butter and sugar. Try to get everything out. If you guys can see this. And then my sugar. So this bread contains a lot of sugar, unlike the normal bread. So it is not something you should make for a diabetic patient or someone that is sugar intolerant, okay? Because as you can see, it has a lot of sugar and it's equally very sweet. Like, it's sweet. So I'm just going to cream this until it's light and fluffy. Then I'll now add my eggs. So guys, I've been creaming for about 4 minutes, 4-5 minutes, and look at how light it is. You're not going to cream like that of cake, okay? Just if you get it softened up a little bit and get it more combined, you are good to go. So I'll start by adding 1 egg. Make sure you don't get eggshells into your mix. I'm going to combine that. So you can easily use a wooden spatula for this. You don't really need a mixer, but if you have a mixer, hand mixer or stand mixer, you can use one to save time and energy. So that is well combined. I'm going to add the other egg. Okay. Let's get them mixed in. Now I'm going to set this aside and I'll combine my other ingredients. So I'm going to be mashing my ripe bananas. Okay, make sure they are very ripe. You don't want to use bananas that are fairly ripe for this. If they are very ripe, the flavors will come out the more. So I'm going to be blending this with mashing it with a fork. You can use a potato masher to mash this up, or you can use a blender to blend it. But I don't like using a blender because I like to see the chunks of banana even when it's baked. So I'm going to fairly mash this. So you can see it's pretty much mashed up, but you can still see some chunks in it. If you're going to add milk to this recipe, you can just add a tablespoon of liquid milk into this before you combine. All right, but I'm making this for someone that doesn't like milk, so I'm not going to add milk, and it's equally great. All right, that's it. So I'm going to combine my dry ingredients. This flour has already been sifted, so to that I'll be adding my 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We are using baking soda in this recipe because, you know, whenever you're using fruits in baking, fruits have some kind of acidity to it, and baking soda functions very well in an acidic environment. So I guess that's why the recipe calls for baking soda. Right, so just 1 teaspoon of that is okay, and then I'm going to combine that. I'll just mix that up and set it aside. So I'm going to add my flavor to this, about a cupful. Give it a little stir. You can use banana flavor or any flavoring essence that you want. So just like when you're adding milk to your cake, you start with the flour and alternate it with the milk. So I'm going to be doing the same process here. Start with combining the flour, the dry ingredients, sorry. Now add half of my banana. Mix that in. You can still see the chunks of banana here. That's good. So I'll add some part of this. So I'm doing this just to make sure that everything mixes up properly. Okay, there is no lump of flour dumped at one side that is not well incorporated into the mix. So this process helps you to combine everything very well. Now I'm gonna add the rest of the mashed bananas. It's looking very, very creamy and delicious. So I'll add the last part of my flour. Get everything inside there. And then I'll mix. At this point, I'll add some of my nuts because I wanted to toss up with that little flour there before it combines into the mix. There's a saying that goes that if you are adding nuts or dried fruits or anything, raisins, sorry, into your cake mixture, you have to toast it with flour and then put it into the mix. As in, you have to toast it with flour before you put it into the mix so that it will not sink to the bottom. So I skipped that process. That's why before I combined all the parts of the flour, I had to add it so it will like touch some flour before getting properly mixed in. So this is it, guys. I'm going to grease my bread pan and put this inside. So here's my bread pan, guys. I'm going to be greasing all the sides and edges with butter so that the mix will not stick to the pan. Get all the sides greased. You can use oil, or you can use a parchment paper or a kitchen spray for this, but I always like to go the traditional method of using butter and flour. You can see that all the sides are perfectly greased now. I'm going to dust this with flour. Flour helps to reduce the grease if it is too much, and also makes the sides to be smooth and less oily. Okay, so I'm going to be coating all the sides now. Okay, so before you get this part done, make sure you're already preheating your oven. So you're going to preheat at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius before you put into this. Before you put the bread in. So I've gotten all the batter put into the pan. I'm going to level it so that it will bake evenly with no side bigger than the other. So I'm comfortable with this. So now the rest of the nuts, I'm going to sprinkle them on top. I like nuts in my banana bread. It's so tasty. So I'm going to bake this now. I'm going to go over the oven to bake this. Don't forget to tap your pan to release every air bubble that might have been stuck into the batter while you were putting it in. So guys, here is our banana bread. It's baked. It baked for about 1 hour. Yes, I guess my oven was not too hot, but from 50 minutes to an hour I should be done. Look at this, so nice, soft, and it's hot and very nice. Guys, make this at home for your family for breakfast and thank me later. All right guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye. This banana bread is divine. Like, this is so soft, so sweet, so juicy. This is my lunch. If you want to join me, you know where to find me.